Scott.
emergency to be getting from street.
Okay, so I'll be quick.
For you to be talking now to me
I will
back.
be quick. First off, I wish I watched this first. Secondly, uncomfortably close to It's a Mad, Mad, Mad World, which I don't think is particularly aged very well.
Similar.
So,
Very similar.
But what I will say is, at the margin, this is a thumbs down, except for two things. One of which is, I will watch Alan Arkin chew gum.
Yeah, he's great.
Like, he's one of those guys that no matter what the movie is, he makes it better. And then I read this up. It's like the story with the lack of subtitles, and that was a choice.
Yeah,
and
it was
really interesting
because they're probably not really speaking much real Russian.
No, it's real Russian.
But hold on.
No,
so by making
I think it was, yeah.
So it was a choice. There were no subtitles created for the Russian-speaking parts in this, which is like half the fucking movie.
And there's so much Russian in it.
It's like half the movie.
I fucking kind of dug that, actually. That's one of my favorite parts of this movie.
It actually forces you to engage as a viewer differently.
Yes.
And what it was like, there's like, the Jonathan Winters mugging, like all the mugging, the townspeople, like, no, like when it was just the Russians and you literally just had to watch body language and they were communicating what was happening. Like that was their argument. Like, we don't need subtitles. You'd be able to tell what's going on just by.
And
it puts you in the American perspective immediately.
So
it's an alienation.
There's a lot of mugging. There's a lot of clowny, stupid, but Alan Arkin, yes, and the choice with no subtitles. So those balanced out all the shit I didn't like about this thing.
Now, I talked to John before about the screenwriting of this film, and this is a brilliant screenplay because it's every major character.
Did you just say brilliant about this? Okay,
sorry. Scott, I didn't answer you when you posted that.
I know you're wrong, but the thing is, every major character has these amazingly as a very clear set of goals. It's like, what does Walt Whitaker want?
To slap his son?
Well, yeah, he does. And eventually that happens.
And he should have a million times.
He wants to respect his wife, and he wants to go home, and he wants to be left alone. What does Elizabeth? What does Rozanov want?
He wants to
get back on the.
He wants to get he wants to get the sub off the sandbar.
Off the sandbar
with a minimum amount of bullshit. And the thing is,
I just want to know what Eva Marie Saint wants, because I'll
get back to that in a second. No, the thing is, this is a comedy that's crafted really well in terms of like every character has equal amount of weight, and they actually have goals, and they're all being frustrated by each other.
Right.
But it's not a comedy that's crafted well in terms of how many times I laughed in 2 hours.
Okay, all right, maybe I laughed my ass off.
I should have put
1941, which is.
I should have put a quarter on the table for this, because there's a word. If you guys remember, someone chose a film a couple years ago that was similar to this.
Okay,
because there is a word.
Oh, you're thinking about 1, 2, 3?
There's a type of comedy that I abhor. Like it's the worst, and it's zany. I don't like zany. I don't get zany. I don't understand zany.
Wow.
I don't like. I really hate slapstick as well.
Actually, this reminded me of another of Scott's picks.
Of zany
used cars in terms of tone.
Maybe that might be
that's meaner.
But
like
this, I just fucking hate zany. Ugh, it's just not my bag.
Right.
This is 1941.
Yeah.
Anybody ever see that?
No.
Like literally.
But I know what it is.
It's Spielberg's biggest disaster.
Flop. Yeah.
And that's why I have not seen it.
It's the year we first big budget disaster. He's had many since, which is just this movie, like with 10 times the money.
I like both things that Chris liked about this. I liked Alan and I like the no subtitle, but Carl Reiner needs to like go kick rocks, dude, like somewhere in another country, because
I don't know.
He's so fucking insufferable.
I liked him way more than this fucking bunch of.
I'm
actually very surprised by this, because it's like this is kind of like we saw Failsafe. This is a smaller version of that.
Yeah, but the problem is that
this is a smaller and more personal version of that. This is
what if
the Ruskies showed up in your town? What are you gonna do?
Right.
But like, the madcap-ism of the townsfolk, I just was like kind of wanting to kill myself.
Also, one thing about this is that I don't think you guys, none of you guys, and I'm accusing all of you of not spending enough time in the East Coast. Because I recognize all these characters from the time I spent in Maine. Like there's the part where they open up the bar and then the guy says like we have to get organized, and then one guy says no, they're opening up the bar. It's something about the East Coast mentality.
There's like that. I knew when there was like a scene and then they cut to the beach and I'm like I was like, the young couple are gonna be walking hand in hand, and they fucking were. I was like, I knew it. I fucking knew it. That was gonna happen.
He kept his boots on though.
Yeah.
No, I mean, Scott. Again, my problem is that had I watched this before Failsafe, maybe I would have reacted to it a little bit differently. But watching it the night after Failsafe, and I get that they're two totally different kinds of movies. But the problem is that they both came out the same year, right?
No, it's 2 years later, 66 versus 64.
All of the consequence in Failsafe, like this is like. Yes, it's a fucking Russian sub that gets on a sandbar. We're not at war with Russia at this point.
We're in a Cold War with Russia. The thing is, that's the thing that informs the entire film. There's a point in the film where Jonathan Winters is talking to some guy who's totally freaking the fuck out. It's like they're going to come over, they're going to kill us all, they're going to invade, and and so that fear is the background. Maybe it's not apparent in 2024.
That's maybe part of the problem.
It's apparent.
I felt the stakes on Failsafe way more than I did with this one. And that might be
because they hung a fucking lantern on it. This one is in the background. The Cold War, the end of the world, and there's a great line that Rozanov says this: if we fail our mission, there's going to be World War III, and it's going to be your fault.
Remember, I remember that. I did kind of like that line.
It's like, that's the thing. It's like the implications of all that's happening here are huge. They're not apparent now, but they're huge.
Right. I think you're giving it too much credit. This is not a smart film in any way, shape, or form.
Okay, that's but by all means, back that
up. I remember now that I did take a few notes the other night.
This is fucking. You could double bill this with fucking Red Dawn or some fucking.
I watched this early in the week. I
like that movie,
and I wrote down.
Red Dawn's a right-wing version of this film.
Totally.
All right.
It's
2 sentences. Not funny and doesn't wring any suspense out of the situation either. Coen Brothers would have done a better job. And we talk about movies that should be remade because they kind of whiffed it the first time around. Instead of remaking a popular movie, make a movie that doesn't quite do what it set out to do. I'll bet the Coen Brothers could do a great job with the same plot.
They're always remaking movies that already work. Why are you doing that?
Yeah. Remake this. Give it to the Coen Brothers.
Remake something that almost worked. Make it work.
Here I was thinking the Russians should have killed somebody. They should have got on the island and shot somebody so that there would be actual stakes.
John, what the fuck is wrong with you?
But there's only one.
What is wrong with you? This is a comedy. No one's supposed to die in a comedy.
But there
How many people die in a Coen Brothers comedy? Lots sometimes.
Lots. And there is one moment. There's one moment that comes close. There's one moment that comes close. It's behind Scott. It's when he shoots at Homeboy when he's in the bug.
And that was like the scene I cared about.
Yeah, it was like the first time we were like, oh no, is someone dead?
Stakes. Give me fucking stakes. There was nothing. As soon as those soldiers came in and they held the guns on the family, it was like they don't want to shoot those people, and we could all tell.
You guys are.
Nobody's going to shoot anybody in this movie.
Your guys are jaded, man.
Nobody's going to shoot anybody ever in this movie.
Slapstick.
I swear to God, you're
zany,
so who
zany
cares?
bullshit.
Have you met us?
If you can't see this film as a comedy with comedy level stakes, I can't help you.
Oh, it is a comedy.
No, dude,
it's by definition,
it's a direct line from
the genre is comedy. It's not funny, but it's a genre.
Go watch Mad World again. I don't really laugh at that. I understand like this is a type of humor that's particularly popular at the time.
It's a spectacle.
Chris, you saw that film and you didn't laugh once?
I mean, it's really shticky. It's a whole lot of people who got famous on Hollywood squares.
I am trying to explain
the reason they were on Hollywood
comedy genre
because
that was
they were
popular
already famous.
Yeah, I get it.
I'm trying to explain a comedy genre that was popular in the 50s and 60s to a bunch of guys who don't fucking appreciate it, man. What the fuck?
Well, I'm trying. I have to like think like there must be examples of like okay, like Shot in the Dark. Peter Sellers was that.
Shot in the Dark is a great example of this. There's no stakes in that.
I laugh at the Clouseau movie. I laugh at the Pink Panther. I laugh at Shot in the Dark. Like that's this kind of movie, and that for whatever reason that works for me. Like this is not a total thumbs down for me because of the things.
The Graduate was a comedy too. You didn't laugh at that, right?
Which was it?
The Graduate.
Sure, I left. Oh, you can't compare this to The Graduate.
Absolutely, you can.
What? They're not on the same fucking planet, dude. Not even close.
Oh no,
not even close.
Mid to late 60s comedies, man. Come on. It's like
that is a mature picture. This is a fucking joke, dude.
There's nothing madcap about The Graduate.
You know. This is why I don't like bringing comedies onto this show because you guys
pick a funny one and we'll laugh.
No, I never bring
comedy. Okay, John, here you go. Here you go. This is
hey, dude, if you want to do zany, you're gonna get this response.
God, I feel it because I've got a short list of comedies.
I swear to God, I did not expect this response.
Humor is more subjective than scary movies, and that's why I rarely pick comedies for this thing because I get it. Like, what's funny to me is not necessarily funny to anybody else. So,
right.
This is for me. This is an artifice.
Also, I'll give you one thing.
Artifact.
One thing I'll give you that comedy doesn't age very well. Comedy is very topical, and it's like the thing is, I assume that this Yelling at Movies group would actually be able to transcend this particular time frame and understand how comedy worked in the 1960s, right? But apparently, I can't.
It's just going over our heads.
I'm going over your heads. I'm going over your heads and saying this film was a huge hit when it came out. They showed this in Russia and it made people fucking cry. I swear to God.
This movie is 60 years old.
Yes, it is.
And it is from a time and a place that is very far away. It is a type of humor that does not really get done very much.
Okay.
Like
also, if you think Homeboy hated his wife at the beginning of the last film, this guy hates his whole fucking family. He hates his life. He hates his wife. He hates his job. He hates them. Like, why does everybody wake up in this house and they're like, I need fucking coffee. Get away from me. Shut up. Eat your breakfast, you little shit. Fucking.
He's the perfect choice to write a musical comedy.
That slap in the head. I mean, I think one thing that, okay, moving on. One of the things about this film that's kind of unique is that the wife, Elsbeth, is the owner of the film. She's the only sensible person in this entire movie. Because every time something happens, when someone comes up there, she actually brings a solution out. And she says, no, you should be doing.
She's the one that brings the big one at the end for sure.
For 1966, that's unusual because letting a woman be the owner of the film and having the
but it's even resaint, dude. That's why.
Even conceives the end of the film. It's like we should have a flotilla of boats to help these guys get out of the harbor.
She does come up with the solution.
I know. It's unusual. Think about it. It's
I'm looking right now. Like, okay, so Mad Mad World was 63. Basically a cousin to this.
Yeah, very much.
You could probably do any.
I don't know that.
Any Hal Ashby movie is funnier than this.
I would love
that movie. Hold on. For me, Mad World is not aged particularly well either. But then you go, Strangelove was 64.
Yeah,
2 years before this. For me, I can watch every year and still laugh at it because, and maybe it's just the level of sarcasm.
Yeah, because you're
Terry Southern.
Because you're a cynical. Because you're a cynical asshole who thinks that Major Cole is a funny name for a goddamn character.
I feel seen. Then I go all right. So I don't know. Great. Like if my wife was here, she's like, "Why haven't you guys picked The Great Race yet?" The Great Race would sit very comfortably.
Yes.
It is also a Mad magazine.
Actually, weirdly enough, this and the Magnificent Man, and their flying machines.
Yes.
It's that era, right? Where you have these over-the-top comedies.
This is the era that we're talking about, where it's like, there's no nihilism. There's very little sarcasm. It's not dark.
No,
it
explores the era it's in. Flying Machines is about the 1910s. This is about the Cold War.
I realize that this is maybe a me problem, but and this type of I'm kind of with Jared here. This particular type of humor with these shticky like Jonathan Winters
Oh God.
Oh,
like
you laugh. You laugh. Come
blackboard.
on.
No, he's like nails on a fucking blackboard.
It occurs to me, it's like I've been hearing Jonathan Winters as a comical genius all my whole life, and he came on screen this time, and I was just like, I hate this guy. I never like to see him. I'm never happy to see him.
Yep.
No, it's Hollywood Squares, man.
Yep.
Anyway,
but Alan Arkin fucking rules.
No, Alan Arkin.
Also, look how handsome he looks. I never thought of him as a handsome man, but
when he was young, what a handsome
guy. A mustache and a hat suits him.
I love Alan Arkin with every fiber of my being, and every time he's on screen, this is a better movie for me.
I think it's the things I picked out of this.
He thinks it's one of his best movies. By the way,
does he?
The things I picked out of this film, I think, were a little deeper in some ways. I think that you look at what's his name,
Brian Keith.
Brian Keith's character, he is like a World War II veteran. He's tired of everything. He doesn't want to deal with anybody. He has to deal with like.
I did want him to beat up that fucking other guy so bad.
It was a sword wielding maniac, and he just wants peace and quiet.
I thought Brian Keith was good, by the way. I think he's good in that role.
All he wants family affair.
All he wants to do is people.
There's a lot of great actors in this movie. This is beneath all of them.
Also, Chris, the kid from Family Affair was the one that was dangling from the church steeple.
Jonathan Whittaker. That was exactly right.
Also, with Mike,
the same year as this movie.
The guy that played the kid. Reiner's kid, the boy.
Oh, so obnoxious.
He's so obnoxious. And then Michael J. Pollard also showed up. So there's two of the kids from the Star Trek episode Miri.
Oh, that's fun.
This movie.
I am looking up comedies of the '60s, and they're pretty bad.
Well,
it was actually, a different time.
Jared. So I'm like, The Producers was a year later.
Mm-hmm.
That movie still makes me laugh.
I thought it was 3 years later. Oh
no, 67.
You're just...
And then Graduate was 67, but I think these are two different planets. And then there's a British flick with Dudley Moore called Bedazzled, which I love unconditionally.
Oh yeah.
That's what I
kind of. So
60s comedies are not the problem.
There's Breakfast at
60s
Tiffany's
comedy.
There's Charade. There's Breakfast at Tiffany.
Party, The Odd Couple.
Oh, well, Chris, those movies you mentioned all have sort of a dark-hearted center, and this movie has this movie has a soft, warm-hearted center.
Yeah.
Can't we all get along? No, look at this Russian's falling in love with this girl, this American girl.
They literally escort the fucking Russian sub to.
It's cute. It's sweet.
This was picked as an anodyne to Failsafe. That's why I picked it.
But also,
Scott, we know why you picked it, dude.
Okay,
Scott, just to say it for
obvious.
the record, you
still don't like it.
Scott, you were the guy who is perpetually glasses half full, and I'm like literally the fucking opposite.
No shit. I'm getting that sense now. It's like
Chris and I are both the glasses half empty, and where the fuck is the drink at?
Like half full.
Dazzle tells me how goddamn cynical you are. It's crazy. But
well, guys, I just want to point out that there's one person here that has been very, very quiet.
Very quiet.
Very super duper quiet.
Exceptionally, even for Jim.
Tiebreaker. Jim.
I may have died.
In Mexico. Just like Trotsky.
I don't think you could say that if you were actually dead.
It's an hour later in Mexico, don't forget.
Well, it was Day of the Dead yesterday, so I'm still dead.
Oh, yes, dude. That's
still
right.
dead.
We're still high.
I liked it. I mean, I liked it. It was a good comedy. What I thought of it somehow in the middle of it, I had this vision of Anderson making Moonlight Kingdom, because they both take place on a fictional island off the East Coast.
And that's your favorite,
Anderson.
Not a bad comparison, actually.
Yeah. Wait, Jim, that's your favorite Wes, right?
It is,
Yeah, that's what
it's a good one. It's a good one.
That's one of my
It's
favorites.
a good one.
You know what? I can see this. I said, who did I say should remake it? Oh, the Coen Brothers. Maybe Wes Anderson should remake it.
Actually,
it's a little more
thought if we could get
get
Billy Wilder in a time machine, he could go forward.
Wilder.
Yeah.
But you know what? This is Norman Jewison, and he has a solid fucking career.
Dude made fucking rollerball, man.
Yeah. He was very prolific and has a very long career.
What else? In the Heat of the Night.
I mean, he made I think Guess Who's Coming
Moonstruck
all the way to that.
One of my favorite movies.
I think he did Guess Who's Coming to Dinner.
Jesus Christ
Superstar.
Jesus Christ Superstar.
I'm going to admit one thing about this film that is actually kind of a tell. This is actually one of my dad's favorite films.
Well, that's different.
The thing is,
that means something different.
He saw that. He saw the name of the submarine right here, and the dictionary translated it.
It looks like crypt, but
it's sprut. It's like he had no idea. He had to call the library and ask what sprut meant in Russian. He said, "Oh, it's octopus." Like, oh, it's like so. There's an attachment in this film to my father.
Right.
Scott, let me just defend this movie maybe on one other little level, which I wrote down, but
okay.
And I pull up the scene behind me as an example. There was a level of caricature of the dumb, paranoid American.
Oh shit! Yes.
In this movie. That
World War II.
It's like the second half of the picture.
Well, but
the dumb paranoid American.
World War II era rifles, the Russians.
Maybe because of where we're at as a nation right this second, I'm not in the mood to see the caricature version of MAGA.
I'll give you that.
I know what this is.
I'll give you that.
And that's probably like there are things about this movie that I liked and I thought were smart choices. I am bringing baggage to this experience, one of which is watching it right after Failsafe, and the other is
I also watched it in that order, Chris.
A bunch of fucking dumb rednecks, and this time they're in.
Well, watching it the week before the election.
I know it doesn't. I really, admittedly, it doesn't help at all. I'll give you that.
For me, I love you, Scott. I love
you too, man.
But it's just like I've seen films like this, the zany pictures.
Okay,
they're just not my cup of tea.
That's fine.
As far as those zany pictures go, this is probably the best one.
Let's back up a little bit. This was all shot in Mendocino. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Fort Bragg, Noyo, and Mendocino. They were able to cheat out all that.
How did they make it look so ugly?
Yeah. Well, just
they had to flip all the. They had to flip all the pictures so that the ocean would be on the other side.
Yeah, it is. And also, you notice that have you ever been to Noyo?
No, they just shot it. No.
Bragg, there's a huge overpass where Highway 1 goes over the harbor. They cheated it out every single scene. You didn't know that overpass was there.
No, you never saw it.
It's some good filmmaking, man. It's like in terms of like just being that they built that house as a set they built just north of Mendo.
And this house looks almost exactly like the house that gets destroyed at the end of 1941.
Exactly right. So
Spielberg saw this.
The filmmaking also this is
This
is Joe Barak, the guy who did the photography, Joe ASC, the guy who did it.
Sure.
This is one of the last films I can think of that does Hollywood 3-point lighting. You notice the interiors were all like that rim light.
Oh yeah. Well, I kind of associate that with the 60s as well.
I know 50s actually. 50s. But
50s.
Oh, and while we're talking about production values, as much as I praised the graphic look and the title design of Failsafe, this movie is the beginning and the end are like, we couldn't afford Saul Bass, so here's this.
So we got Jack Davis.
We know who that was. That's Pablo Ferro.
Those titles with the flags going up and down. It's bad,
it's
man.
bad. It's really bad.
Some amazing work in the 70s and 80s. Look him up. He
got better. He got better.
He must have gotten better.
This movie is 100%
Because those were like.
Pablo Ferro is one of my favorite production designers. He did the credits for the Addams Family, and he did for a couple other films like that. Men in Black. That was him. So yeah, the guy knows what he's doing, man.
It seemed very crude to me.
Well, maybe it was he was trying to.
It was a crude time. Think about it.
Yeah, but when you look at like North by Northwest and some of the other things that Saul Bass did around the same time.
Saul Bass, come on.
Saul Bass is the fucking man.
He's the man. No one else
likes you in Temecula.
Like Saul Bass.
And the failsafe, that fucking person was the man.
I think that Pablo Ferro is better than Saul Bass. This is weird.
I don't know who this guy is, but I agree with John that I thought those credits were.
All right, we're done.
Clunky. Yeah.
I'm at 51% on this thing.
Jim, anything to add, Jim?
51%.
I'm like not all the way down. I'll do this.
At least there's somebody there. Yeah, it's like it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen.
No, I'm at 50. It's a historical artifact. I found it engaging,
interesting.
I didn't laugh.
I'm not going to give it a thumbs down because Alan Arkin.
Alan Arkin,
yeah. Okay, Alan Arkin is one of these.
That's fine.
Reiner wasn't very good.
Reiner, way down.
I accept your
Saint.
Alan Arkin. You're all wrong, but that's fine.